Another beautiful fall day behind the hobby house, and we have some big updates today. Not on any of this, other than a lot of the seed that I threw out is coming up. We have ourselves a mixture of edibles and buckwheat, which I guess is also an edible. It's all coming up. Maybe hard to see with the camera, but it's just covered in green on that little embankment over there, and it's all seeds, just like, yeah, I mean, all over. It's great. You can see it. You can see it. So it's all coming up. That's pretty cool. Buckwheat's kind of a cool one. Easy to spot. These tall, tall dicots. They're coming up all over the place. So they seem to like the spot. And that's something that'll grow throughout the winter time until it gets really, really cold. And then I can just chop and drop and add organic matter to the soil. So fun times. Yep, and it's still holding some water. I haven't added water for weeks now since the last time that we filmed. And yeah, I'll just kind of see what happens. But I was out here burning some stuff. We have a lot of the honeysuckle bush, Chinese honeysuckle, Asian honeysuckle, a lot of different names for the same thing. And right now they are, they've got their seeds coming out. They're little red, whatever they're called, they're fruits. And evidently they are flammable. So I just was pulling them down and burning them in this little thing, and it worked out great. Just trying to keep some of the seed load off of here because there's a lot of seeds. They produce a ton of seeds, and each little berry produces a lot of seeds inside them. So doing what I can to at least mitigate that somewhat and get rid of some invasives. Otherwise, I really haven't done anything else except for I bought the property behind the house. Although we haven't closed yet, we've still got about a week left on that, but we've got an accepted contract. I've really been aiming to get this place, but it was within a trust. I couldn't get a hold of the owners. It's a little old rundown house, really similar to the hobby house. So it was very inexpensive. I really only wanted it for the lot. So as you can imagine, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take over most of the lot. I'm gonna throw a fence line behind the house, and then we'll fix up the house. Right, cameraman, a foot here, and then walk on these boards coming across. Yeah. So it's another hobby house yard, essentially. It's going to extend my lot for about 400 feet total, about 300 feet from house to house, 60 foot wide. And the soil here is just as great as the soil in the backyard of the hobby house. So there's a lot of cleanup to do. There's a lot more cleanup here than there was in the hobby house yard. The previous owner didn't want to do any work. He wanted us to envision what we wanted to see or whatever. But I've got the utilities marked. We only have water coming through the backyard here. So there's a water line right there running pretty much straight towards the house. I just want to make sure that I don't plant stuff with really big roots, a big tree or something right above the water line. That's all that I really care about. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna keep this fence line up, and we're gonna turn it into a nursery where we have the bigger trees up here and maybe smaller trees in here, something where I'm gonna be digging them up pretty often and we don't give the roots time to establish and hurt our water line. But other than that, yeah, this is higher than the house up there, so I'm going to be able to do the same thing with the pools. I could actually extend the pools from the hobby house yard back here and then kind of zigzag across and have lots of places for water to hold in. And like I said, yeah, just an enclosed space. I'm going to keep the fence there. I'm going to put up a fence back here so that if I end up renting the house out, that it'll all be mine. It's all mine, my yard, for growing stuff of all things. Gonna make myself a little nursery, probably with some trees, some nut bushes, filberts. I really want to grow some filberts without having deer pressure on them. Apple trees. I'll be able to seed a lot more apple trees back here, and I don't have to worry about having tree rings on them all. So I'm really excited for that because I didn't get enough apple trees planted last year, at least what I wanted to do. But I mean, y'all want to go check out the inside of the house? It's a pretty bad condition little house. It needs some work, but a lot of invasives that need to come down. Pretty much all invasives back here. There's a huge poison ivy vine on that tree there. So I guess I'll deal with that in the spring when I can identify it a little easier. all kinds of like rocks and stuff in the backyard. You can see that there's years and years of buildup of this stuff. The owners changed hands quite a few years back, and I noticed, this used to be a very well manicured back lot, but no longer. So we'll check her out. Of course, everybody's got dogs. Everybody's got dogs here. All right, we had a water leak in here, but it looks like it is mitigated at the moment. It smells like dogs. Can you smell it through the camera? I know the cameraman can smell it. Little one-car garage. Nothing too fancy, but an actual one-car garage, as opposed to the hobby house, which has a one-car garage that was converted into HVAC and is totally not usable for anything at this point. But this, on the other hand, which also has the HVAC in here, yeah, it'll do. This will do. And weirdly enough, it's like we have all floor registers here, but there's also ceiling registers. So my guess is that the floor registers don't do anything anymore. But kind of a cute little kitchen. They've already got a flat top in there. This is probably from the 70s or earlier, if I believe, if I'm correct. I think it's a 1955 house. The fridge is obviously running. I don't even want to open it. That thing is in yuck. It's just yuck. We had, peel and stick tile in here that they pulled up. But the entire house is otherwise really nice wood floors that aren't actually in that bad of a condition. I'm wondering what's going to happen when we pull this up. Is it going to be more wood floors underneath, or is it, going to be a particle board or something like that? So we'll find out in the future, because one of the things that I'm going to do is sand all the floors. We're going to take out some of the ceiling, fix some roof issues that we have in here. I'm probably going to rip this out, do a header, open this up so that we don't have this thing here. And since it looks like all of the HVAC is actually running through the attic right now, we don't have to worry about that down there. There's a return air vent up here that we don't have to worry about anymore, so I can deal with this. It's going to be easier to just rip this out than it is going to be to try to figure out what's up with it. There's a couple of things we'll have to deal with, like these halogens here. Yeah, with UV filter 100s. That's pretty fancy. Yeah, they even have old phone lines here. It's amazing what you find in old houses these days. But yeah, it's a house. It has really nice big windows up front though. That's kind of cool. But obviously we got some ceiling damage here and there. There's been leaks. There's, I got it for cheap. So if you want to come check out the bedrooms, they're little bitty bedrooms with hardwood floors. They all look the same. We'll just go down to this one that has the most light right now. They had dogs here. You can see all the stains from the dogs. So this is going to take some work, but while we're gutting the house, not a big deal to just come in and treat everything and sand everything down and restain, reseal, etc., etc. Gonna be work, but hey, I couldn't give up the opportunity to have the hobby house yard be twice as deep. Do you want to see the really scary bathroom? I mean, I guess it could be worse, but it's got one of those stand-up tubs, and they didn't do a good job of weatherproofing the edges of it. Let's just say that. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that, or if we're gonna just gut this bathroom or not. We'll figure it out. Probably has wood floors underneath that sticky tile. And then this wall, I mean, what more could we ask for except for wood floors, fake wood walls, and then fake brick all in the same little spot? I love how many different things we've got going on. No, I don't love it. I don't love it at all. I'm wondering, it looks like there's tile under the entryway as well, that I can see the corners over there. And that's kind of standard for some of these houses where they'll have everything wood in the house and then they'll have tile just on the entryway, which I'm actually getting pretty good at laying tile. So to me, it's like, hey, I can put some fancy tile in. It'll only be like 9 or 12 squares, so like I can spend a little bit of money on some decent tile. I actually have a lot of leftovers from my house retiling it down there, so I can probably just use that because they will match everything else. So yeah, I might as well look at the front yard, I guess, and get the whole tour. It doesn't have a huge front yard. We are as close to the street as we can possibly be. And again, there's a lot of invasives that we're gonna have to take out. A little bit of yard work. I had all the utilities marked, which I've told you like 8 times at this point, so that I would know what I can and cannot do as far as, you know, digging deep or not digging deep, removing trees or not removing trees, etc., that sort of thing. So yeah, a little bit of cleanup, but yeah, it's not a big yard up front. It's not a big house, but it will definitely do for what I needed to do, which is give me some spots to grow more plants. This is the weirdest thing to be saying, honestly. I know that it sounds weird, it feels weird, but it also feels right at the same time. So yeah, it's gonna be some work, but fortunately we can handle it. A little scraping of the paint and she'll be almost good as new, and after we get the smell of the dog out. Yeah. All right, so that's it. If you got any questions, leave them down below. I imagine that you probably won't need to know where babies come from after seeing this house. So as always, thanks for tuning in and have a great day.